Ahem. Mic check. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 3 4. That bots? What's up, bots? It's been a minute. I miss streaming. Kind of weird, huh? I missed Yapping. How are we doing? How do we do? Put me up here. How do we do? I feel like my camera's all fucked up. It's because the book. How does this look? All right, this is fine. We'll just keep it like this. Well, how are we doing? Oh, there's the cat. Here's the cat. Hello, Ellie. Hello, Ellie monkey. Look. Look at the camera. You're always in the way a bit. Huh? You're always a bit in the way, aren't you? Do you know what I'm happy about? No drop frames. We're getting 8,200 kilobytes per second. Pretty good. Pretty good. Nice early stream. What's up, Patrick? Yeah, man. Went for the midday stream. Actually, I'm an hour late to where I wanted to be streaming, but I slept in today. Slept in, man. To be honest, it's really nice outside, and I should probably go get a workout in, but I'm a lazy prick, and I said no. I'm just gonna go sit on my computer and yap. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. The delay is still pretty high on YouTube. I don't know if that's just a YouTube thing or what, but I mean, when I go to my settings, I have it on low latency. So I don't know. You guys want to yap politics yet or what? I feel like maybe we should look at something. At least not lagging for now, yeah. To be honest, that was so weird the other night. Usually YouTube is smooth, and then Kick will fuck up. Usually it's Kick that messes up. And I think it's mostly just because I'm multi-streaming, to be honest. Twitch always seems to be fine. Oh. What's like a lighthearted topic? Oh, yeah. Is that the dog? Yep, good boy. Go up on the bed. Do 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 do. Where did I just see that? I want to start with something light, low-key, chilling. Good old Wordle for the fans. All right, let's do some Wordle. Let's do some Wordle. Let's get into it. Should we do Wordle, Tradle? I have Tradle here. All right, Ellie, I love you, but you're in my way. Good girl. Good girl. All right. No. You're gonna throw me, no, let's put me top left, sorry. Somewhere up here. All right. What should we do? I usually do bread or... I want to use like an S and a T and a vowel, obviously. And what about slash? No. Splat. Splat? Let's do splat. Okay. Well, that gives us a lot of information. That's some information. Go completely different direction. No S. It's a ghost. No S or T. No S. Oh, I'm stressing. My brain is not. It's not working. I need coffee. I need caffeine. Ooh. I just always go to bread. It's a complete. Let's just. Oof. Oof. Oh, this is going terribly. That gave me the least amount of information. No. How would you spell Deke? Deke. Like that. Maybe it doesn't start with the D. Oh my god. No R. Hard one. I know. Ugh. Because this is the thing. This is the thing with Wordle. I think if you don't get it in 3, like getting it in 6 is pretty easy. To be honest, you should get it in 6. Getting it in 3. Now we're cooking. I am not cooking. No R. Or C. H. Seeds. I can't even think of any words now. My mind is just blank. Beans? No S, but no A. Give me an idea. Somebody hit me with something. I gotta. Let's do Tradle. Now we gotta get our mind on something else here. All right, Tradle. Which country has 58 million total exports? Holy shit. Nutmeg, mace, and cardamoms. Frozen fruit and nuts. Let's go like. It'd be travel for Barbados or something. Animal food, flavored water. What the? I guess this is just exports though. Let's go like Barbados. Oh my god, I almost got it on the first. Almost got on the first one. 247 kilometers away from Barbados. Barbados. Wow. Wow. Is it Grenada? Oops. Grenada. See? I am smart. At least I proved I can do something. My political profile. That's okay. Well, Tradle complete in 2. Didn't help me at all. Weird. No. Need. No way. Let's go DE. Deers. Deers. Whatever. Oh my god. What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? No R, no A. What is this word, bro? Lord. Okay, well, at least we got 2. I'm not even gonna get this in 6. What is this word? So it's like something H, something D. Joke. No. Let's see. So H has to be there. So it's something H D. I don't think there's gonna be words that do that. So H has to be here. And something D. I didn't even know today's word existed. See, this is why sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, like I'm just an idiot. And then sometimes I'm like, these are words that nobody uses in their vernacular. You just wouldn't use it. Yo. No. Gotta be CH. Shade? No A. Chewed. No. Something CH. D. No, I don't think so. Sometimes it's something EH. Nice. Oh, somebody's gonna give me an answer. I look over at some bot, ask me in front of 800 viewers. Somebody tell me. What is it? Don't make me Google it. Gold. Okay. I'm just gonna burn a word, I think. Because I need to find out, is the H there or in the next slot? And I would like to find out if G is there too. Okay. So now we know it's something H something G. It's not G. Holy. CH. Chide. Chide. To chide somebody is like to kind of like. Yes! I've heard this word. Ugh. Come on now. Big brain. Big brain. Terrible. I should have. When I went for chode, I should have got it because chode. Chide is like to like scold or rebuke. Yeah. I was gonna say like interrogate them or like whatever. But what is chide in the Bible? To scold or rebuke, express disapproval. Okay, well, I chide this Wordle for putting this as the fucking word. What the hell? Why? Why have you done this? Oh, so bright. Finally. I appreciate you. You kept me on track. When you said you basically had it, I said, okay. Okay. I was close with chode. Yeah. Rothschilds, huh? Jeffrey Epstein was a shadow broker, a connection man, a facilitator for the Rothschilds. As you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. Such an idiot, Harry Margules. Who is this? Or complicit. Or just not ignoring facts. I don't even know what this is. Ridiculous. Yeah, how is it unsubstantiated? It's just right here. As you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. I was hoping to figure out a way for the bank that has 160 billion in management can do something in tech. Best client list on the world's prehistoric products. It can wait. Good luck in China. Peter Thiel. Meeting up with Peter Thiel, huh? Pretty crazy. Doo-doo. Anyway, the thing I was looking for is I wanted to find is his name Avi Yemeni? Yeah. I actually like Avi. This is the thing. I like Rebel News and I like Avi, but you cannot be saying this. You cannot be saying this. Oh, don't ever worry about delaying the yapping. That was perfect. Good way to get my brain moving. Yeah. I actually really like Avi. But he's getting absolutely cooked today. Did he delete it? Didn't. Avi Yemeni says, so just to preface this, in the Epstein files, Goyim and Jewish supremacy is pretty evident that the way that they discuss non-Jews as Goyim is almost slur-like, right? Gentile is the other word for it, but they use goyim as sort of like a slur, kind of like a, you know. And Avi Yemeni comes out today. It's not even a slur. Who cares? It just means outsider. That's basically what it means. Goy means nation. It's other nationer. That's kind of what it sort of translates to, I assume. Avi Yemeni says, "Dear Goyim, know this: we love you, unless you hate us." Oh man! Before jumping on the latest outrage trend, maybe learn what the word actually means. Goy means nation. In the Torah, Jews are called Goy Kadosh, a holy nation. It's not the slur they are selling you. Yeah, so Goy Kadosh and Goyim, so what happened is how words get condensed, same thing as English. They start off as different words and they get condensed and consonants get taken out and it becomes a shortened version of an old word. And same thing. So Goyim, outsider, basically. Not Jew. You are not a Jew. It's not the slur they're selling you. And yes, Epstein was a piece of shit and every friend and connection to his should be exposed. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It's not even that bad of a tweet, but it's just, dear Goyim, know this. We love you. Rome always wins, Jew. Whatever you say, Jew. And if the word goyim is so endearing, then why are you only using it for the first time? Like the timing making this statement right after the Epstein file drop is wild, my goy. You can't call him a goy. You can't call him a goy. Yeah, and this is all things from the Talmud. Murdering goyim is like killing a wild animal. Even the Gentiles should be killed. A goy who pries into the law is guilty of death. Who knows? I'm not going to go and read the Torah, but I just thought it was funny that I like Avi, but he's just absolutely getting cooked. Whatever you say, Jew, it already ratioed him.
Yeah, goys, that's all you guys are. You ever hear that word? Goy. It's Yiddish for non-Jew. Yiddish is like Jewish Ebonics. You know, Goy means non-Jew. And just so you know, when you hear it, you think it's fun and friendly when they're saying it to you. It's not. They're shitting on you to your face.
Yeah.
Goy is a derogatory word. Probably my favorite derogatory word. Yeah, because most derogatory words, they single out one race or culture and make them feel bad. Not Goy. Goy is the most inclusive of all the derogatory words. Do you know how pompous that is to have as your term for the other?
Yeah.
To them, it's 1/10 of 1% of the world. And then, ugh. Various shades of goy. Yeah, goys,
True.
That's all you guys are.
Various shades of goy. Yep. Well, Anyway, what a dumb thing to say. Dear Goyim, we love you unless you hate us. Well, essentially by you saying goy, we are not. You're excluding us from your group. Yet you come to our country, you live in our country, but you're not part of our country, and you never will be. And not only that, you don't see yourself as that. And this is why Jews always get singled out, because they are a religion and a nation and a people all wrapped up in one thing. It's like Christian and Canadian are separate. You can be Canadian in various religions, but if you're a Jew, you are Jewish as race and you are Jewish as religion. And it makes an interesting conundrum, doesn't it? Interesting conundrum. Oh yeah, this is funny. So Max Genest, young kid, Winnipeg. Oh, I thought he was Albertan. Anyway, pretty funny. Has a good YouTube channel. But he went to the Conservative convention. I don't watch this last time.
Do you believe that non-citizens should vote in your party's nomination races?
It's the way it is right now.
But you voted to allow it. Why?
I voted the entire room, actually.
Yeah. So what happened is Tim Opel, he's a conservative MP, fucking the Federal Conservative Progressive Party, and he voted to allow non-citizens to vote in party nominations. So you don't even have to be a fucking citizen in Canada to vote for party nominations. Just like what is even the point of being a Canadian citizen anymore? You don't even need to be a Canadian citizen. Just bring all your fucking Indians over, bring them all over, and just have them vote. And they form a voting block, and then we have fucking Pierre. Where is it? With the fucking dumbass do-rag on his head, with all these Indians, because he has to pander to them because they're a massive voting block. This is what people don't realize. People just think like, oh yeah, it's fine, you know, we just want to help these people. No, they are coming into our politics. And not only are they invading our nation, they're invading our parliament and then using it for their own means. Not for the interests of all Canadians, no. For the interests of the voter block of Indians who all they want to do is import more of them. That's what they want. That's their goal, so that they can make, again, you make more power in democracy, more people you have voting for what you want. It's simple. And so we have Pierre wearing a fucking, look at him. Pierre, what are you doing, you little goy from the prairies? Yeah.
As you can imagine, it's a pretty big honor for a simple goy from the prairies to stand before you today.
Oh, and so it just frustrates me. So this is the thing. Conserve what? Pierre, come here. Pierre, come here. What are we conserving? What are we conserving? Is it Canada for everybody and whoever wants to come here and we're all Canadians? Or is it Canada for the Canadian people? And if you can't say it's Canada for Canadian people, you are not you are not a nationalist. And even though he's trying to work some nationalist wording into a lot of his speeches, it falls flat when you're wearing a fucking do-rag and you're fucking sitting with a bunch of Indians and letting them in. They're non-citizens are coming here and voting. It just makes absolutely no sense. Pisses me off. Anyways, Max Janess went and he bought a membership to go to the Conservative Party, fake being a conservative, and then he used it to humiliate Turban Tim and call and canceled his membership. Beautiful. 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 Nice. Good job, Max. That's so funny. Clearly, we need more incompatible Islamic third world foreign-born parliamentarians to keep enriching our sophisticated first world Western societies. Dolly Begum has fought for the people of Scarborough West as their MPP. Fucking hell. We're kind of fucked, aren't we? I think Canada might just be cooked. Like, we might just actually be cooked. Why is this trending in Canada? Did you guys hear we fired our Islamophobia is logical? Yeah, Jew. Ew. Oh, we fired our Islamophobia minister. And then we also fired our Canada's Islamophobia SAR. Yeah, government's decision to dissolve the office of the social representative, wow, for combating Islamophobia. This office came to light after a terrorist attack that took the lives of 4 members of a London family. Ugh, disgusting. Yeah, Mark Carney is scrapping the Trudeau-appointed Islamophobia and anti-Semitism SARS. I hate that we call them czars. Why are we using this? Oops. I always wanted this. So yeah, it's czar, and then if it's plural, it's ZZAR. So it's the same title for a Slavic monarch. I don't know why we're using these. Like we're not Slavic, all right? Are we all cooked? Yeah, to be honest, man, I think we all might be cooked. 2026, 2025 was wild. 2026 has sort of started off with a bang, with USA doing all this crazy stuff. USA, USA, USA. But then it sort of slowed down, I don't know if you noticed that, but I mean, Epstein stuff is coming out, which is... Yeah, have you guys looked into PizzaGate? If you're ever bored, just search up PizzaGate. Anyway, I think this is interesting. Mark Carney is scrapping the Trudeau-appointed Islamophobia and anti-Semitism czars. I wonder why. Just to save money. He's probably... Do you know why? This is my conspiracy theory. I think Mark Carney realizes that he doesn't need Islamophobia and all these czars and paying. He doesn't need a huge cabinet of people doing all this stuff. Do you know what he needs? Digital ID. Digital ID, because what'll happen is if he can get digital ID passed, he can track everything online. It'll be sort of like China. Like if you do something, maybe they give you a parking ticket, they'll just take the money right out of your bank account. Or, they'll restrict your access to your bank for a week. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy what the government will have control of you. And so as soon as we get, and you know what, the way they're going to do it is they're going to say, we need to protect the kids, so you need to sign up. First, it's going to be social media, is all going to be, digital ID. And then they're going to say, oh yeah, we're just going to incorporate banking and all other aspects of your life. Your SIN number, you want to go to the doctor, you get your health number, you put it in there, and then they track all of that. And if you you say something bad about the government, you're not allowed, no doctor for you, no doctor, no public transit, you can't travel. And then they'll stop you to be 20-minute cities. So if you go too far outside your city, you just get billed. It comes right out of your bank account. They just bill you for the carbon capture. Yeah, Patrick, I know. Normally not really into politics and stuff, but the Epstein files got me going full conspiracy. Honestly, man. I was up till 3 a.m. just searching a bunch of stuff. What was the other one I was looking up? Oops. What is this photo? Was it Liz? I don't know. There was a few people. Oops, I don't want it home. I don't know if you've seen this, but we should watch this maybe.
Epstein is PizzaGate. Let that sink in for a minute. Jeffrey Epstein is PizzaGate. 10 years ago, PizzaGate was by far the #1 trending topic on Twitter. But the claim of pedophile elites who preyed on children was so insane that PizzaGate was shrugged off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I was the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding PizzaGate.
Yep. And so, just sorry, before we did, so he made this. This reporter was fired after airing the segment. He did this in what is it, 10 years ago. Holy shit. So it's 2016 anyway. So he did this, they fired him, they basically like outcasted him from the media space, and now he's being proved right. Imagine just the vindication for Ben Swan, sorry, apologies. All right, sorry, Ben Swan.
My corporate career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun, and I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media.
Yep.
But
100%.
then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that PizzaGate is real.
Sorry. I gotta bring this up on the YouTube.
Epstein is
Here we go.
PizzaGate. Off as a wild fever dream of a conspiracy theory. I
that
was
louder?
the first mainstream reporter to dare give the facts surrounding PizzaGate.
So quiet though,
Corporate
Ben.
career was destroyed over it, so what? My professional reputation was obliterated, that wasn't fun. And I wasn't the only one. Anyone who dared to suggest that this might be true was blacklisted, shadow banned, or thrown off of social media. But then, just days ago, the largest dump of Epstein files revealed what some of us have been telling you for a decade, that PizzaGate is real. Not that there is a pizza parlor at the center of a child trafficking ring, but that child trafficking rings run by some of the most powerful people in the world do exist. Tonight, I want to remind you of what I told you then and compare that to what we have now learned.
PizzaGate. It became a major story weeks ago when an armed man decided to investigate a D.C. area pizza place for himself. This man right here, he carried a rifle into a pizza parlor and then fired it at the floor. Media is telling you the entire story is a hoax or fake news. But what does that even mean? I spent the last month investigating. So
look at him. Look at this guy. Look at this absolute beauty. I love Ben
what
Swan
exactly
now.
is
Look at him.
PizzaGate?
Well, the story that came to be known as PizzaGate did not begin with a rumor, nor was it created by Macedonian sheep farmers, as CNN actually once claimed. It began with WikiLeaks, authentic, verified emails taken from the phone of the chairman of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign, John Podesta. Those emails were real. In all these years, by the way, no one has actually disputed that. Inside those emails were communications that struck a lot of people, not just online commentators, but researchers and former law enforcement, as unusual to say the least. References to pizza and to pizza handkerchiefs and to maps, to private gatherings involving powerful people, some very bizarre stuff. In fact, the first people to draw attention to those emails were a group of self-proclaimed pedophiles on 4chan and 8chan who claimed that Podesta was using the same terminology that they use to speak in coded language. And in researching those emails, I found a 2010 entry into Urban Dictionary. It's still there, by the way. It confirms that cheese pizza is a commonly coded term for child pornography.
Of course.
CP.
I want you to see these images here. These are the images. Notice this one on the end, the triangle. That image signifies something called boy love. The pizza place next door to Comet Ping Pong Pizza, Besta Pizza, well, this was their logo until only a few weeks ago. Clearly, you can see that the Besta logo actually contains the same image, I'm going to show you again, as that boy lover image. Interestingly, after PizzaGate investigators pointed this out, Besta Pizza changed their logo, and there it is now. They removed the triangle.
Yeah, 10 years.
That's the only thing is, like, I think they were even so. Say if they had nothing to do with this, and this, I think that's a lie. I think obviously some fucked up shit is happening, and I'll show you another video why I think that. But what were they gonna do? Say you're just a regular pizza place, and they said, "Hey, you need to change. Like, this is like a boy lover logo." I think I would change it. You know, if I was just a regular pizza joint, I'd be like, "Oh fuck, I didn't know that."
Years ago,
I just thought it looked cool.
Dangerous conspiracy theorist and a madman were claiming that pedophiles and possibly even pedophile elites might use coded language, even though it was online pedophiles who said that's exactly what they do. Which brings us back to this new Epstein release, because in it, the word pizza is mentioned 911 times. That's right, 911 times adults are emailing back and forth about slices of pizza and about pizza parties. And the word pizza is often paired with grape soda in bizarre contexts within.
So this, do I really have to explain? But, wow. This is better than a Chinese cookie. Okay. See attached. Let's go for pizza and grape soda.
Emails addressed to Epstein by individuals whose names have been mostly redacted. So here's one. Quote, "This is better than a Chinese cookie. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand." Or this one. "Mr. Epstein would like to see the menu from the pizza place. Could someone send it, please?" Or this one from 2014. "Sit down, because I know you won't believe this. Are you sitting? Jeffrey says he wants to go out to a pizza place with you. He did not mention a particular pizza place, but he knows you are in the know on this."
You were in the know. You were in the know.
All of the emails that I just shared with you were from 2014, right about the same time period.
2014,
John
wow,
Podesta
okay.
emails that WikiLeaks published and started the entire PizzaGate saga.
Now let's talk about the Podesta brothers, because remember, it was John Podesta's email that was hacked. In those leaked Podesta emails, John Podesta talks about his close relationship with Dennis Hastert, the former Speaker of the House, who was recently sentenced to 15 months in prison for abusing boys years ago.
Yeah, well, speaking of the Podesta brothers, again, there was no direct evidence of them being involved in child sex trafficking from those emails. But as we pointed out at the time, there was a
No
lot
direct
of bizarre
evidence. No
communication,
direct
including
evidence,
an email
yeah.
from John Podesta to his
Sure.
brother Tony.
Sure.
The subject line, "Last night was fun," and the first line reads, "Still in torture chamber." That email got really no attention 10 years ago, but today, a 2009 email from Jeffrey Epstein is getting a lot of attention.
Wow.
As it asks, "Where are you? You okay? I love the torture video."
To the fallout from the latest release of the Jeffrey Epstein documents, they include communications between the rich and powerful, from the co-owner of an NFL team to billionaires like Elon Musk.
CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest, and what the Justice Department says is the last, batch of Jeffrey Epstein files.
Friday's release of millions of pages related to Jeffrey Epstein provided a closer look at his connection to world elites from Hollywood to Washington, Wall Street to Buckingham Palace and beyond.
I thought she swore there.
Yeah, well, all those so-called news anchors and their newsrooms for a decade blacklisted this topic. They conditioned you to live in ignorance. They
True.
called it a
I
conspiracy.
thought I liked this already.
They called me and so many others dangerous for even looking.
For all that is here, there has not been one single public investigation of any of this, not from local police, not from the FBI, no one. And that has to be the big question, not for Podesta or for pizza parlor owners, but for law enforcement. Based on what may be or may not be here, the big question is, why hasn't any investigation taken place?
Well, 10 years later,
Well, I think we know why.
investigation
I think we
ever
know
took
why.
place.
Exactly.
It's a failure of a complicit government and also of a corporate
Complicit.
media that didn't just ignore this evil. They helped to cover it up and keep it operating in the shadows. See, by refusing to engage honestly in 2016, by choosing mockery over investigation,
True.
by silencing questions
Preach,
instead
Ben.
of asking them, they created the very environment where
Sorry,
this
shouldn't
evil
yell.
could thrive. See, they didn't kill bad information as they pretended. They guaranteed it would survive. See, I wasn't censored the way that I was because my reporting was false. I was censored because it was dangerous. Dangerous to narratives, dangerous to reputations, dangerous to a media culture that had grown comfortable acting as a gatekeeper rather than a watchdog. See, the unspoken rule was simple. Some questions are not allowed.
Yes.
Not because they're wrong, no, but because they lead to the truth. And the truth? Pizzagate, at least in the form of a cabal of elites and powerful people who delight in the physical and sexual abuse of children, is real. Remember how we started.
It's real.
Epstein
It's
is
real.
Pizzagate. But the other reality it's time to accept, Pizzagate is much more and much bigger than just Jeffrey Epstein.
Ben Swan, everybody. Ben Swan. He seems sort of like an investigative journalist who he seems sort of like an investigative journalist who just absolutely gets hooked onto these ideas, and then he's not even afraid to say exactly what he thinks. You know what the crazy part is? I was actually, I mean, I got Epstein files got released, and I was like thinking about this too, but I found this one YouTube channel, and then when was this? 10 days ago, he released, perfect timing, Pizzagate video, and he has like 1.2 million views already. Sorry about your car crash the other day. Sorry about your car crash next week. Yeah. All right. Should probably change this because we're not even gonna. And Pizzagate. What? The 4th. Dates. All right, we're gonna look at Pizzagate when I get back. Much bigger, yes. All right. Everybody calm down. Calm down. All right, Pizzagate.
Could you imagine?
Wait.
Imagine a world where the top 1%, the elites of our society, the ruling class, the ones who run the government and are pulling the strings behind everything, are secretly involved in some of the most depraved things that you could ever possibly imagine. I'm getting a feeling of deja vu. I feel like I've heard this story before somewhere. Nowadays, that might not be that hard to believe, but back in 2016, this was something that was unfathomable to most people. How's it going, everyone? Welcome or welcome back. My name is Chase, and today we're talking
Chase, everybody go follow Chase. He only has 124k subscribers. If somehow you come across this video, or somehow you're in this chat, go follow Chase on YouTube. Do it right meow.
About Pizzagate. So when Pizzagate started gaining traction during the heated 2016 election cycle on places like Poll, 4chan's political board, it wasn't hard to initially dismiss the whole thing as nothing more than a crazy alt-right conspiracy. But I think it's worth revisiting the theory in modern times, especially in light of recent events. Let me say first and foremost that I have no political bias here, and all I care about is the evidence that has been presented. My goal is not to convince you that Pizzagate is real, nor is it to disprove it. All I'm here to do is present to you the theory as a whole and all the supporting evidence, and then you can come to your own conclusions. I'll also note here that I've spent over a month going down this rabbit hole, and every mainstream source is so quick to say that it's debunked and there's no truth behind it at all, but I haven't seen.
I also went and looked up all the news articles after he said this. It's all, oh, this is fake, right-wing conspiracy, this is all bullshit.
A single one of them actually debunk any of the evidence. But you should obviously take their word for it, because they probably have hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars even, and I'm just a little chud in my room sitting at my computer, so I'm sure they just have more information that I don't, and no one else does for some reason. Viewer discretion, of course. We're going to be talking about some dark shit here, so if you don't want to watch that, this is not the video for you. That all said, I hate to say it, but don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and let's get right into it. Pizzagate sparked in 2016 when WikiLeaks published over 20,000 emails from the inbox of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman during her presidential run. Immediately after these leaks were published, people online began scanning these emails line by line, finding many strange references and jokes that sparked suspicion that there was something more going on here. Before we go over some of these emails, it's important to note here that while the interpretations of the coded language within the emails is unsubstantiated, the emails themselves are completely legitimate. The Podesta emails were reviewed and confirmed to be authentic by multiple US intelligence agencies, including the CIA, FBI, and the NSA, which is the National Security Agency. So while the interpretations of these emails can be debated, nobody is disputing the authenticity of the emails themselves. Of course, I can't talk about all 20,000 emails here, and most of them are mundane and irrelevant to what we're here to talk about today, but here are a few of the most notable ones that helped fuel the initial theory. One of the first emails that really caught people's attention was sent by Susan Sandler, a philanthropist and political donor who did donate to Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign run, to John Podesta. The email reads, "Hi John, the realtor found a handkerchief. I think it has a map that seems pizza related. Is it your ruse? They can send it if you want. I know you're busy, so feel free not to respond if it's not yours or you don't want it. I just came from checking the field house and I have a square cloth handkerchief, white with black, that was left on the kitchen island. Happy to send it via mail if you let me know where I should."
You know what bothers me about this? I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but it sounds like, you know, when you're friends and you are like trying to like message about like drugs or whatever, and you're like, oh, you know, like snow instead of cocaine, or like you're talking about like, you know, like plant, or you're like I don't even know, flower instead of pot. I don't know, whatever.
It's not hard to see why this would catch people off guard. What is a map that seems pizza related on a handkerchief? What the fuck does that even mean? Well, coincidentally, the handkerchief code is a color-coded system that people
Oh my god, that's disgusting.
use to communicate their interests and pleasures non-verbally. Different colors relate to different acts or things that people are into, and I will not elaborate farther on that. If it's that important to you, you can look that up on your own time. These people are like old boomers, so maybe they just communicate differently and they have some dementia going on. But again, what is a pizza-related map? What even is that? Another email that caught people's attention was sent to John Podesta by Herbert Sandler, who was at the time a co-CEO of Golden West Financial Corporation, a major political donor to the Clinton campaign. Now Herbert Sandler is burning in hell. I'm joking. Rest in peace, Herbert Sandler. I'm sure he did nothing wrong at all. Mary and John, I think you should give notice when changing strategies which have been long in place. I immediately realized something was different by the shape of the box, and I contemplated who would be sending me something in the square-shaped box. Lo and behold, instead of pasta and wonderful sauces, it was a lovely, tempting assortment of cheeses. Yummy. I'm awaiting the return of
pasta and wonderful sauces.
My children and grandchildren from their holiday travels so that we can demolish them. Thank you so much. I hope you and your gang are well. I miss you both. Best wishes, throw a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Herb. P.S. Do you think I'll do better playing dominoes on cheese than pasta? The thing that stood out as weird to people is that last line. It's just worded in such a strange way. People don't typically refer to eating something as being on something. People online began theorizing that cheese and pasta and these terms used for food were actually code word for something else. That something else being kids. And I know that's quite the leap in logic to make, but it's not the only example of strange references to food in these emails. Like this email sent from Tony Podesta, John Podesta's brother, would love to get a pizza for an hour. Like again, what does that mean? If we're just talking about lunch, that is not a normal way to say that. Imagine your friend gets a hold of you and they say, hey dude, you want to go get a pizza for about an hour? Like what? What does that mean? This one is in a long chain of emails.
I don't even understand. So pizza for an hour? So they're talking about raping a kid for an hour? Why would you even say an hour?
So I'll spare you from me reading the entire thing. But the part that stood out to people here was Bonnie will be Uber service to transport Ruby, Emerson, and Maeve Lozado, 11, 9, and almost 7. So you'll have some farther entertainment, and they will be in that pool for sure. Excuse me?
In that pool? Sorry. Just reminds me. Vander. Anderson Cooper's mom in their beautiful mansion has this pool. And this is artwork in John Podesta's house. Look familiar?
Me? What? That obviously sounds really bad, and unfortunately there's no context that makes it sound any better. And it just gets weirder because there's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down with this woman. Reportedly, Lozado ran a website known as Evie's Crib, which was kind of like a blog. It's hard to confirm because as soon as people started talking about this, it was removed almost immediately. But if this blog is real, it looks really bad. The website apparently featured many pictures of Lozado around young children, including her step-granddaughter, Evie. The header of the website reads, "Evelyn is growing up. Soon she will be the queen of the entire US of A. Right now, for a limited time only, you can spend some time with her online, raw and uncut. Take advantage of this now, as in the future she will have the power of life and death over you." First of all, why are people spending time online with your granddaughter at all? And then raw and uncut, that is just a really weird way to describe that. Whoever was running this website categorized these posts with labels so you can find exactly what you're looking for easily. Posts were labeled under categories such as psychopath, evil white bitch, filth, malpractice, discomfort, manipulation, and Ambien.
Ambien.
Sorry.
Ambien, for those who don't know, is a prescription drug that is classified as a hypnotic and is used to treat insomnia short term. One of the side effects of Ambien is that it wipes your memory. Many people have no recollection of anything else that occurred or what they did after dosing. Why would that be a category on this blog that she apparently uses to post pictures of her children and grandchildren? That's really anyone's best guess. Another picture on this blog shows a baby after bath time, and while not inherently sinister, it's definitely a little bit weird even though you can't see anything. But the caption here is what really stands out. It ends with, "Unrated version of this photo available only to premium subscribers." At the absolute best, if this website is real, which again I can't confirm, this is an incredibly weird and tasteless joke to make. This is something that I feel uncomfortable even saying right now. The last email we'll cover for right now is sent by Maria Abramovich to Tony Podesta.
This is where this shit gets satanic.
And later forwarded to his brother, John Podesta. Google describes Abramovich as a conceptual performance artist who has pushed the boundaries of performance art as a visual art form since the 1970s. Personally, I would just say that she's a freak, but anything is art, right? Dear Tony, I am so looking forward to the spirit cooking dinner at my place. Do you think you will be able to let me know if your brother is joining? All my love, Marina Abramovich. I think I called her Maria a second ago, but anyways, it seems innocent enough at first glance, but what is spirit cooking? I mean, probably just some unconventional or traditional way of cooking if I had to guess, but it actually turns out that's not what it is at all. You see, spirit cooking is an art form or occult ritual invented by Abramovich, inspired by the idea.
Invented by Abramovich. No. I think she took inspiration from somewhere.
That ghosts feed off of intangible things like light, sound, and emotion. For this reason, her recipes involve things like evocative instructions for actions and thoughts, and bodily fluids. A few excerpts from her cookbook are as follows. With a sharp knife, cut deeply into your middle finger of your left hand. Eat the pain. Look in the mirror for as long as it is necessary for your face to disappear. Don't eat the light. A moment ago, I referred to spirit cooking as an art project or an occult ritual, and I wasn't being facetious. This is how Abramovich herself views her work. In an AMA on Reddit, Marina says herself that the context is what makes something art or not. Quote, "Everything depends on which context you are doing what you are doing. If you are doing the occult magic in the context of art or in a gallery, then it is art. If you are doing it in a different context, in spiritual circles or private house or on TV shows, it is not art. The intention,
it's art when I want it to be art.
The context for what it is made and where it is made defines what art is or not." So in her own words, they are doing an occult ritual. If you're curious to see this spirit cooking, you can find a video online of Abramovich giving one of these artistic performances herself as demonstration. The video shows Abramovich writing phrases from her cookbook on a wall in pig's blood.
Saliva of your lover mixed with morning dew collected from eucalyptus leaves. Morning urine sprinkle over the nightmare dreams. Spin around until your consciousness all the questions of the way. Mix fresh breast milk with fresh sperm milk. Drink on earthquake nights. A drop of something.
And then dousing the statue of a small child in it. Now, of course, there's no way to say for sure if John Podesta attended this spirit cooking event or not, but coincidentally, in photographs from around that time, John Podesta can be seen with a band-aid on his left hand's middle finger. And people online have also mentioned that his hands, and particularly his fingers, are awfully scarred, as if they've been deeply wounded repeatedly. But I'm sure that's unrelated. Clearly, these are really bad optics, and we've already reached a point where the absolute best case scenario is that these people are involved in the occult and are doing blood rituals in private. People who are powerful ruling class members of society are being invited to, in private, perform ceremonies and worship old world gods like Moloch and Baal, but more on that in a second. This is where James Alefantis and his world famous pizza come in, and it only gets weirder. So who is James Alefantis?
Who is?
Well, he's an entrepreneur who owns Comet Ping Pong, a pizza restaurant located in Washington, D.C., and also a location that was frequently mentioned in the Podesta emails. He's also one of the most powerful and influential people in the nation that you've never heard of. Despite being nothing more than a restaurant owner, GQ listed him as one of the 50 most powerful people in Washington in an article published in 2012. GQ writes, liberal 20-somethings in khakis drink beer and eat pizza at Alefantis-owned Comet Ping Pong. More established progressives wine and dine next door at Alefantis-owned Buck's Fishing Camping. Alefantis is also the board president of Transformer, the contemporary art gallery that shamed the Smithsonian for removing an installation offensive to right-wingers. When it comes to DC radical chic, Alefantis is unsurpassed. If you don't know him, you aren't wearing your scarf right.
So what are we talking about? Well, Portugal fan, I don't know if you've heard about a certain somebody named Jeffrey Epstein. Anyway, a bunch of things came out. This is PizzaGate. So this came out in 2014, and a lot of people talked about what was happening with this pizza and all these symbols and all these things, and sort of referencing about what Jeffrey Epstein was in. Now the files come out from Jeffrey Epstein. Wow, I'm getting way too ahead of myself. Files come out from these Epstein documents, and the documents refer a lot to pizza and grape soda and Chinese cookies, and they're using coded language the same way that PizzaGate was talking about in 2014, and it was just a right-wing conspiracy, and now all these people are being very, very ratified in what they were
basically
believing.
This restaurant owner is the pretentious king of the woke, and if you're left-wing and you don't know who James Alefantis is, you must not be wearing your scarf right. Get out of my pizza shop, you peasant. When it comes to radical chic in DC, I am undefeated. Anyways, if this guy is one of the 50 most powerful people in our nation's capital, he must make some pretty good pizza, or have connections somewhere else, right? Well, James Alefantis is a gay man who was involved in a relationship with David Brock, who was chief of Media Matters, a major media organization tied to the Democratic Party, until he left in 2022. David Brock also founded Correct the Record, a super PAC created in 2016 to support the Clinton campaign. At a surface level, this doesn't seem that weird, and it does help explain some of the political power and influence that James Alefantis has. But then people found his Instagram account, @JimmyComet, and as you can probably guess, it only gets weirder. We'll start with this picture that he had up on his Instagram showing a young child being held in a man's arms. Nothing wrong with that, but the caption of this picture is #ChickenLovers. Chicken lover is well-known coded language that was used in the 1994 documentary film Chicken Hawk that focuses on homosexual relationships with a large age gap. An age gap so large that it makes the relationship itself criminal. There's also this image that appears to be of a walk-in cooler being referred to as the kill room in the comments. Alefantis captioned this picture, "Oh yeah, this looks fun," And then he went into the comments under his own post and wrote #murder. And like with everything else here, this is really only barely scratching the surface. There are countless weird pictures and captions from the Jimmy comment Instagram, and if we went through all of them, we would be here all day.
I encourage you to go look into that Jimmy comment.
There's this picture of a young child with euros in his mouth, and Jimmy comment writes, #Karis James loves spending euros. There's this picture of a baby doll holding a sign that says, German baby $1,200, please do not touch. Jimmy comment writes, way overpriced. There's this picture of a young child with their hands taped to a ping pong table. And in the comments again, someone else writes, #Karis James. Karis James seems to be a recurring thing referenced in Jimmy Comment's captions and comments, and it's really anyone's best guess what that could be. But coincidentally, there is a small Caribbean island or...
And that's a great question, Portugal fan. Do you know why they do it? Because they are so arrogant. They think they can just get away with it. They think they're just in the open. Not only that, they're obsessed with symbolism, and they want to... The red shoes. I could go into this for hours. I might actually just make a YouTube video and cut it up in pieces. But there's the whole red shoe club. You know, there's all the symbolism with the, you know, PizzaGate, the boy lover, girl lover sign, all these symbolism, the handkerchiefs. These people are obsessed with leaving symbols being open about it, but hiding in the open kind of thing. And so they absolutely are arrogant, and they just assume they're never going to get caught. So they do stuff like this. It's crazy, isn't it?
Island named Little St. James. That Caribbean island named Little St. James happened to be owned by a now very famous financier who was from New York. I'm sure you've seen that guy's name in the news recently. And of course, this was years before anyone knew what was happening at that island. That wouldn't come until 2019. Then people realized that Jimmy Comment's profile picture on Instagram wasn't a picture of him, it was actually a picture of a statue. Nothing weird about that, except that this specific statue was the statue of Antinous. Antinous was a Greek pubescent who got involved in a relationship with Roman Emperor Hadrian, who was in his late 40s, and he is specifically known as the Greek boy lover. Now, this wasn't seen as anything bad in the ancient world societal norms, but of course we look at that a lot differently today. And this easily could have just been a coincidence, but in the bigger picture and everything else being considered, it's not hard to see why it would raise some questions. And that's really what this entire theory is based off of. How many coincidences are you willing to overlook in order to believe the official narrative that there's nothing else going on here? Even if you think this is just a bunch of conspiracy nonsense, it's not hard to see why so many people buy into it, because in order to believe there's nothing else going on, you have to chalk so many things up to coincidence and just overlook them. The cryptic emails, the occult rituals being mentioned in the emails, the profile picture, the pictures posted on the Instagram. And there's also the elephant in the room of why is this man who is attracted to other men, so he has no kids of his own, spending so much time around so many different young children? Putting aside the weird contexts and captions of these pictures, who even are these children? And clearly I'm not the only one wondering that, because even Snopes notes how strange his Instagram was and how James Alefantis does not have any children, and neither do his closest associates. And they also note how it was privated only 2 days after it was found, so clearly he knew how bad this all looked. And they even say in this same article that PizzaGate is false and it's all nonsense and not real at all. So even they can't just overlook this. They have to address the elephant in the room and be like, yeah, this guy's Instagram page is really fucking weird, and we actually have no clue who these kids are. And again, that's overlooking all the other stuff. Even if we knew how these kids were connected to James Alefantis, the pictures would still be really weird. The context of them, the captions. But on top of all of that, this is a guy with a boyfriend, so the kids clearly aren't his, and his closest associates and his friends don't have any children. While none of this is hard evidence of anything criminal happening, it really does make you wonder what's really going on here, and that's a genuine question. I would love for somebody to explain to me how this is all very innocent in nature and there's nothing weird going on, and I'm open to that explanation, I just haven't heard it. All of this just looks very weird, and it seems like the farther down this rabbit hole you go, you're left with more questions than answers. All I'm saying is that when you connect all the dots together, together, it really doesn't look good, and it does make you wonder if there's more going
PizzaGate.
on here
Yeah. The F1 addict. What's up, brother?
than what we
yeah,
know. Speaking
PizzaGate.
of connecting the
PizzaGate.
dots, James Alphonsus has this picture of Marina Abramovich posted to his Instagram. So at the very least...
Wait. I'm sorry, what?
James Alphonsus
Marina...
has this picture of Marina Abramovich posted to his Instagram. So at the very least, he's a fan of her work, which I would say isn't exactly normal. I don't think I've ever personally met a Marina Abramovich fan, and I think most people don't even know who the hell that is.
I think there's multiple. This is the thing. You know, I think PizzaGate is exposing, you know, American Jewish influence. I think there's a whole nother... There's quite a few. And I think Jeffrey Epstein was just one facilitator, one shadow broker, the Rothschilds, right? Who is manipulating things over here. But I think there's other people. There's a whole ring, man. It's not just one, it's multiple.
James Alphonsus also has connections to Tony.
Well, Rothschilds are Jewish. So it is Jewish.
Podesta, John Podesta's brother. Here they are pictured together in what seems to be some sort of campaign or fundraiser taking place at Comet. Doesn't really matter, but there they are. Okay, but that could just be a campaign. That doesn't really prove that they know each other, right? Well, here's another picture from the event that is much more candid, and it was posted to...
The Rothschilds, who Jeffrey Epstein worked for, are Jewish. So this is exposing Jewish... And they use Goyim. You know, a lot of these files say Goyim. So it is sort of a Jewish American. And you're right, it's not just... I think what happens here is Jews were using blackmail against these people. And the way they do it was pedophilia.
Jimmy
right?
Comet. He is literally brushing elbows with Tony Podesta in front of a cake. And side note, this guy is absolutely cheesing. Whether they know each other well or not, clearly Alphonsus is very happy to be there next to Tony Podesta. And this just raises even more questions, especially when you look into Tony Podesta's art collection. And that's a whole nother can of worms that I'm not going to open here.
I wish you would.
I wish you would open it. If you look at this guy's art collection, it feels illegal. It feels like I'm doing something wrong seeing it on my computer, and it's all over this guy's walls. When I started researching this, I went in hoping to find answers to some of this, but it doesn't seem like there are any. Everyone's very quick to tell you that this is all conspiracy and it's made up nonsense, and that very well might be the case, but nobody actually shows you where it's been disproven. Now let's talk about some of the symbolism that people have noticed, because I know I've said it a few times at this point, but it really does just get weirder and weirder. In 2007, an FBI document leaked showing specific symbols that predators use to identify each other. While looking at this document, people noticed that these symbols appear quite frequently in businesses, logos, and imagery of not only Comet Pizza, but surrounding businesses as well. For starters, Comet Pizza had this Play, Eat, and Drink, or PED logo on their website, which many people believe resembles one of these symbols. On the subject of Comet Pizza's website, the website was hacked in 2016, and
I'm not even gonna lie, I think I've seen some bars around that say Play, Eat, Drink.
the hacker shared an apparent members-only section. This members-only area was password protected, but when a password was entered, it brought you to a downloads page. On this page, you're able to download various large zip files, but each one requires a specific download key. Keep in mind, this is a pizza place. What could possibly be the reason to have a members-only section on the website with downloadable files available? And what is in these folders that is so exclusive that each one requires a unique password in order to be able to download it? And this wasn't some staff-only area of the website, which even that wouldn't really make any sense, but there were apparently 110 people in this exclusive pizza club. And again, once this came out, the entire section of the website disappeared, which really does make you wonder why. It's already bizarre.
It's not just about Jewish people. It's everybody is complicit and involved in this. Do you know what it is? It's Jewish facilitated. That's why. And it's not all Jews. I'm not saying all Jews are like this. Of course not. That would be ridiculous.
Or that it was there to begin with, but why was it removed once the public found out about it? Again, assuming this is all real, because I don't have a way to verify it myself at this point. It was apparently deleted 10 years ago, but why did they try to bury it? Why did they try to cover it up? What's there that they don't want you to see? While looking into Comet Pizza, some people noticed something peculiar about the logo of Besta Pizza, another pizza place in Washington, D.C., located only 2 blocks down from Comet. Besta Pizza's logo is literally the boy lover symbol from the FBI document. Of course, this could be a coincidence, but again, as soon as people started talking about this online and pointing it out, Besta Pizza immediately changed their logo and removed the symbol. Could they have just genuinely not known this, and then as soon as people start talking about it online, they realize and change it? Yeah, sure. And to be honest, Besta Pizza was kind of put in a lose-lose situation, because if they ignore what's going on and don't do anything, people are going to point to the symbolism and say they're involved. But if they do something like change their logo, people are going to say, oh, well, obviously they did know about this symbolism, and now they're trying to cover it up. Some people online have made the claim that Besta Pizza, which is now closed, was owned by Andrew Klein, who worked with the Human Trafficking Prosecution Unit under Obama's Department of Justice. And if that was the case, it would be a glaring red flag and would make the symbolism in the logo being a coincidence seemingly impossible. However, doing my own research, that doesn't seem to be the case, and I would say that there's a very small probability that there's any truth behind that claim at all. The DC Department of Consumer and Regulatory Affairs listed Besta Pizza under the corporate entity Uptown Pizza Inc., and Andrew Klein is listed as a non-commercial registered agent, which means that he was a third party associated with Besta Pizza, most likely a lawyer, but definitely not the owner. I say most likely a lawyer because Veritas Law Firm in Washington, D.C. has an Andrew J. Klein listed as their co-founder, who's been representing business and real estate clients for over 30 years. And from his picture, he's visibly a different person than the one associated with the Obama administration. If you ask me to point to one part of this whole theory that I think is most likely to be just a coincidence, it would be this part. And I really do think that these two men are just both named Andrew J. Klein. But who knows, maybe the lawyer isn't a real person and he's actually a honeypot designed by the deep state in order to make the whole conspiracy more easy to delegitimize. I don't think that's likely, but crazier things have happened. Just across the street from Comet Ping Pong and Besta Pizza is a French restaurant known as Terrasol Gallery. And again, just like Besta Pizza, as soon as people started talking about this logo online, it vanished from their website. They were put into the same lose-lose situation, and again, people took this response and action as an admission of guilt. And again, if there weren't so many other coincidences, I don't think that people would have harped on this point so much, but there are so many other coincidences and people can only lend you so much credence. Also on the Terrasol website was a picture of Hillary Clinton there, and I will not comment any farther on that. She was there though, and that's a pretty strong endorsement. The food was probably really good. Of course, people were also looking into the Comet logo at this time, and while there was no blatant symbology that was mentioned in the FBI document, people did find something strange. Now stay with me because this is gonna sound like a reach, and it did to me at first too, but people pointed out that the Comet logo features crescent moons similar to some depictions of Moloch. For those of you who don't know, Moloch is a deity from the Hebrew Bible strongly associated with child sacrifice. Some depictions of Moloch, especially later depictions, show him with a star on his forehead and 2 crescent moons around either one of his hands.
No, of course it's not just Jews.
I know this seems like a massive reach, but guess what old world god's name appears in an Instagram post by Jimmy Comet? That's right, in this post on Jimmy Comet's Instagram showing off some Christmas presents he received, if you zoom in on the bottom left, you can see the word Moloch. That is so strange. And it's not like it's in a book or anything either, it looks like it's printed out on a single sheet of paper. Personally, I've never received any sort of gift, especially not a Christmas gift, referencing Moloch or any other deity. Maybe this is normal and I'm just out of the loop or something, but to me, that seems really weird. Especially when you keep in mind all the ties to the occult and Marina Abramovich, it's all just so strange. And when that's the best case scenario, when the best case scenario is that you do occult rituals and worship old world deities that are connected to human sacrifice, it doesn't exactly leave a positive impression on people. The Pizzagate conspiracy all coalesced into one incident that took place at Comet Ping Pong, and my good friend Mr. Pill is going to jump in and give you the rundown on the entire event.
In 2016, a crazed lunatic, driven mad by absurd conspiracy theories, stormed into Comet's Pizza armed with a rifle. Totally incoherent and insane, of course, he starts firing wildly at everyone and hurts no one, and only destroys one very peculiar and convenient item. According to the official Department of Justice narrative, 29-year-old Edgar Welch did indeed walk into Comet's Pizza armed with a AR-15 and a revolver. Customers and employees alike fled, while Edgar himself remained inside of the restaurant for about 20 minutes. What was he doing in there? Well, he found a locked closet door, and he tried to jimmy it open. But when he couldn't, he decided to fire rounds into the door. After that, he didn't try and continue to get inside, he didn't break down the door, he stashed away his rifle and his revolver, walks outside unarmed, and is then arrested and sentenced to 4 years in prison. Now, what was inside that closet randomly that happened to get hit and destroyed? It was a computer, and everything on it was now gone. I don't know about you. But even before looking deeper into it, even the official narrative is very weird. It's just way too clean for an active shooter event like this. Historically speaking, these are not so happy ending. Authorities claim that the AR-15 and the revolver were recovered inside of the restaurant, and then they discovered a shotgun hidden in his trunk with some ammunition. But one of the only eyewitnesses to this event, a lawyer in Maryland named Sharif, who was there with his wife and kids, claims that Edgar walked in initially with a shotgun. While this whole thing was going down, Sharif was making a series of tweets detailing the situation.
Whoa. Why did you skip over that so fast?
Initially with a shotgun. While this whole thing was going down, Sharif was making a series of
being arrested. Guy with the shotgun entered.
Tweets detailing the situation, while he also claims that Edgar stashed away the shotgun potentially for future use. In the official narrative, it does describe Edgar stashing weapons away for potential future use. However, my problem lies in the discrepancy between what kind of weapon. And that's because you don't have to be a firearms expert to tell the difference between a shotgun and an AR-15. They're very distinct. They have very distinct profiles and silhouettes. Anyways, get this. Edgar Welch is an actor listed on IMDb. Now that alone would be just a crazy, weird coincidence, right?
True.
But his father, Harry Welch, owns a media company by the name of Forever Young Productions. You can't make this shit up. That's not where the oddities end, though. Harry Welch is a creature in his own. According to his IMDb bio, Harry Welch is a very, very distinguished fella. Let's take a look at it. Written over 30 screenplays. He took up karate in his 30s. That's pretty late, pretty old to be fighting. And then went undefeated in 200 matchups. Wow. Holy moly. He holds 7 Guinness Book World Records for one-armed, one-finger,
What? Hosted a Brazilian exchange student for a year.
one-finger tip push-ups. Very impressive. Not only is he a physical specimen, but he's got a soft side too. He served as a foster family to 3 different children and is an avid animal lover, being a rescuer of animals for 30 years, rescuing tigers, jaguars, leopards, servals, and operating a no-kill shelter for dogs, housing up to 55 at a time.
Servals?
They have found
I don't even know what that is.
forever homes for over 300. So sweet. Things start to get a little bit more serious, though, in his bio, saying he worked on federal, state, and local task forces fighting the war on drugs. Served 5 years with the Rowan County ABC Police. Side note, the ABC Police, I don't know what that is or what that stands for, because I couldn't find any information on what the hell the ABC Police was.
It doesn't exist.
Stakeouts, watching illegal stills, patrolling the county for suspected bootleggers, even working with the ATF. Gross. Even the President of the United States in 1988, Ronald Reagan himself, recognized the excellence of Harry Welch because he hand-selected him and 15 others to check out various military installations, even giving them national clearance and letting them check out the Cheyenne Mountain Nuclear Bunker, which is a command alternative for NORAD. That's big boy stuff right there. Why would goofy old Harry, owner of Forever Young Productions, need to explore a nuclear bunker?
True, why?
However, I think the weirdest highlight was one that stood out mainly because of the context. Served as executive director for Protect a Child, a national nonprofit organization to prevent abuse and abduction of children, appointed by Governor Jim Martin to the Governor's Commission on Child Victimization. In conjunction with this story and this conspiracy theory, that's a little weird. But what's weirder is the fact that this Protect a Child organization doesn't exist. At least I couldn't find anything on it. So as far as I know, this doesn't exist. So why would he put it in his bio? That's about
Protect a Child doesn't exist.
as far as it goes for Harry Welch. I couldn't really find anything else, but I want to bring this back to Edgar because his story's not finished yet. So I like to remain skeptical when I dive deep into these subjects, so that way I don't get sucked into that I want to believe mindset, you know? Because I think that's pretty easy. I was asking myself, if he was really a part of this conspiracy, what would he gain from destroying that computer? What would be his motive to do that? And looking into Edgar's past, I think I found a fairly reasonable potential answer to that. See, previous to the charges that landed him a 4-year sentence after walking into Comet's Pizza, Edgar had struck a 13-year-old child in a reckless driving incident. And as a man who had previous DWI charges, he was facing a pretty serious sentencing. And if we're playing with the idea that some very powerful people needed a scapegoat or a way to get rid of some evidence or a way to maybe suppress these conspiracy theories that were making their ways out into the public, then I think it'd be a no-brainer if he was left between the choices of leaving his fate and his freedom up to the court system, potentially facing much harsher punishment, or, you know, walk into this pizza joint. Don't hurt anybody. Don't do nothing too bad. Just destroy this computer. Get 4 years, you know, fairly light, and then be on your way. Have your previous charges nullified. It's a good deal. I'd take that deal. Just some food for thought. Well, to finally wrap this chapter up, Edgar didn't even get to enjoy his freedom because 5 years after his release, in January of 2025, Edgar was killed in a officer-related shooting after a traffic stop. Apparently, he pulled a gun on officers, and no one knows why. Sounds a lot like a loose end tied up to me. But what do I know?
Big thank you to Ethan or Mr. Pilled for jumping in and going over that.
Mr. Pilled. Appreciate you, Mr. Pilled. Hiox Official. What is this? PizzaGate. This is a video by Chase. If you don't follow Chase already, I would highly recommend you go follow Chase and watch his PizzaGate video. To be honest, if I don't leave soon, I'm going to be late for work. So you've come here at the absolute worst time, Hiox. But I appreciate you anyway, man. Appreciate you for coming by. PizzaGate, brothers and sisters. Brothers, mostly. Majority brothers. Would recommend looking into it. I might just, you know, cut up my own slate on this, you know? Put out a 20-minute video, maybe 2 20-minute videos on 1 and 2. Maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe that might be the way to do it. PizzaGate, brothers. Anyway, I gotta go to work. I gotta fucking pack my lunch. Shit. I'm gonna be late. Appreciate you all. Bye-bye. See you in about, 8 hours? 9 hours? 10 hours? I'll probably stream later tonight. Anyway, bye-bye. Gaming tonight, by the way. We're gonna game tonight. Gaming only.